All right, hey everybody, this is Dark Side Elite here. Unfortunately, I cannot have Hawk here today. He's doing some personal stuff with his family, and that is okay. Also, I'm very sorry for the lateness and not we don't have the podcast out. It's been very hectic and been very busy at my job and also at his job. He says he's looking for another job. Maybe his hours would be a little bit more sustainable for us to be able to do the podcast a little bit more. Now, I'll keep you up to date on that. Now, uh, I'm sorry again for the lateness. It's been almost literally 7 days since it was last week. We finally got the Snyder cut out this month. I did a huge since 4 in the morning of Man of Steel, BVS the Ultimate Cut, and also Justice League. I watched the whole 4 hours. I had maybe one intermission to go to the bathroom. Of course, I didn't have any popcorn. I just basically sat back and watched the whole movie. And I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts, my pluses, my minuses. I also listened to a couple of other people's reviews. Some people did not talk about the one thing that made me kind of upset about the movie, and I will give you the reason why I don't like it, and I'll give you the reason why I think Zach did it that way. One of the things I did also listen to my man Malone, who does Left Foot Media. He does very good reviews. I disagree with him on one of the reasons why he did one of his negatives, but I do agree with him on a lot of it, and I'll explain that why. Now, let's start with the negatives. The negatives are very small. Um, One of the biggest negatives I don't like, but I will explain why positive and negative to it. The negative I did not like was I did not feel Batman was the leader of the team. I felt that Batman was secondary on the team and they didn't have a true leader onto the team until Superman showed up. Um, it felt that Batman was just supplying them the stuff and Wonder Woman was making the tactical decisions and what they need to do. I personally feel that that should not happen. This is also Batman's redemption. We should see Batman in his complete element. He is a leader. He's led people before. Wonder Woman has not. She has not. I don't care what anybody says. She has not led anybody before. She has not led people into battle. She's only jumped herself into battle and everyone followed her. But she never said, okay, everybody, this is what we need to do and win the battle. Batman has done that. He has been one of the leading forces in Gotham for over 20 years. So leadership and him working with Dick Grayson for all those years, it should have made more sense that Batman should have been the true leader of the team. And the complications of where his mentality is, what's going on versus where Wonder Woman is at her point, and where everybody else is, because Arthur is brand spanking new. Yes, he's a fully trained Atlantean soldier. He's trained. It's not like he's untrained. He's trained. He knows how to use his trident. He knows how to use his powers, but he doesn't apply them. And he just pretty much said, screw the world. Flash is just starting to learn his powers. Cyborg is just learning his abilities. So everybody is starting to learn their abilities. Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman are the only ones who have some season with their powers and learn and know how to work into the situation. Out of everybody, Batman has the most superhero experience than anybody next to Superman. Let's be perfectly honest. Wonder Woman, from what we know of this movie, you can't say, well, in the first Wonder Woman movie, no, that makes absolutely no sense, because that movie is supposed to be in a way a contradiction to BVS. You got to remember, this movie came out. The first Wonder Woman movie came out after BVS. So they did a lot of rewrites and trying to change how they were going to do these movies, and that's where we got the really wonky third side. I mean, sorry, the third act of Wonder Woman, and both Patty and Gal came out. They came out and said that they didn't really like the fact that Wonder Woman kind of sealed herself off from humanity for 100 years, and all it took was a gigantic monster to literally come in and basically get her to finally put back on her armor and her sword and shield and fight. Now, here's the thing. I agree with them. I do agree with Patty and and Gal about that, but there's a reasoning why Zack did it that way. He wanted to show that this world had no hope. Batman was the most pristine hero. Flash, Cyborg, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman know who Batman is. He's been around for 20 plus years. He's been fighting crime and fighting criminals for a very long time. He's a legendary hero. They all know who he is. So, and it made sense, but it didn't make sense that Batman kind of peered himself back and let Wonder Woman take charge of everything. Now, some people can say that's politically ignitioned, like it's an inciting some level of PC. But here's the thing, and I'm not trying to make it where that's what that's exactly what it is. I'm thinking that Zack did it is he did it to show, he did it in the way the story was, is that Batman was not in a mental place to actually lead this team. He really wasn't. Alfred even said to him, you don't go charging, you don't go incite the bull, and then when you can't bring down the bull, you put the red flag in front of him. So he's trying to tell Bruce that you can't just basically send this team into it, and when they're about to get defeated, then here comes Superman. That's not right. But Batman told him that he, at this present point in time of his career, and this is towards the end of his career, he's starting to have hope again, and he wants to basically put his hope that Superman will come and save them. That's his job. That's who he is. He is an inspiration of hope. So where Batman is right now, he's kind of don't want to be the leader of the team. He doesn't want to be the leader of the team. He was going to leave this team to Wonder Woman and Superman. I have a belief that he was going to retire after this. He was not going to keep going. Now that's why I feel that the storyline where it was at, if you really listen to his demeanor, how he was acting, I think that he was going to sacrifice himself. I think the ending of the movie was he was going to get himself killed saving Lois, because his whole mentality was never to truly take command of the team. Because again, if you know from Justice League Unlimited, if you know from the Batman the Animated Series, if you read from the comic books, everything, Batman is a take charge type of person. If things are going awry, he takes charge of it, and he makes sure that he makes a plan and he makes it work. Throughout Zack Snyder's movie, Batman he was there, he was helpful, he was giving him some tips and such, but he wasn't leading a team. It was Wonder Woman leading the charge. And I'm not putting down Wonder Woman like she's not a great leader, but that's not who she is. That's not where her training is. She never led the Amazons. This is not the Wonder Woman that actually leads the Amazons. This Wonder Woman left before all of that. She never got the full training from her aunt, who died, and she never went back home. We got that even from Hippolyta. We got that from Queen Hippolyta. She never came back home. So this Wonder Woman is not a fully trained Amazonian warrior. She's a partially trained Amazonian warrior to the point where she's formidable. But if she was a fully trained Amazonian warrior, she would have given Steppenwolf a real big run for his money because of her strength, her speed, and her agility, and her skill set. Flat, she would have given him a big problem if she was fully trained. But that's the things that everyone's got to kind of put into there. I'm not saying that you need to rewatch all the movies. I'm just saying rewatch Wonder Woman, and you're going to understand, or go back to a lot of the articles and the timeline, and realize that this Wonder Woman is not the Wonder Woman from 1984. This is not the Wonder Woman for the Wonder Woman movie. This is Zack's vision of Wonder Woman, who is a formidable warrior. But the thing is that my fault. The thing about Gal's Wonder Woman is she's still growing into her role as a hero. She still wants to be an inspiration, but she's afraid of taking command because she doesn't want to leave men to die. That's the whole point of it. That's the whole point. She lost Steve, and she doesn't want to lose anybody else. Okay? Now, that was one of my biggest negatives. My another negative is I truly did feel that the moment Superman showed up against Steppenwolf was a joke. And I understand that. Superman is a very, very powerful character. But the thing is that Steppenwolf should have been able to at least do some level of damage to this guy to show that if he fought Darkseid, if Superman fought Darkseid would should be able to manhandle him. But here's that's one of the biggest problems by making Superman show up and just completely mollywops Darkseid. I'm sorry, not Darkseid, but Steppenwolf all over the place. You kind of now undercutted the whole ability of the team, and the fact that if you take Superman out of the equation, the team is done. But again, this is a very budding team. This is a very new team. Flash doesn't know his powers. Cyborg is starting to get into his abilities. If Zack continues with this, Arthur's going to be a much more formidable warrior, and so will Wonder Woman. So they're going to be able to have a little bit more on their plate and be able to do something. But I personally felt that Steppenwolf should have been way more formidable to really show that, yeah, if this dude fought Superman on a true equal footing, then yeah, Superman should be like, okay, this guy is bonkers. He's really, really powerful. That's another. And also this is a nitpick. It's not like it's a massive negative of the film. The Batman one, that to me that was a negative. I felt that it should have shown that Batman took command of this team. He put everyone in their places. They all have personality clashes with him. The only one that would not have a true personality clash with him is Wonder Woman. She knows that this guy fought criminals for 20 plus years. She only been through one war. That's it. She hid herself from that point forward. She never did anything else until we saw that the beginning until we saw her introductory scene in the movie. So for Arthur, he hasn't done jack squat either. So for Arthur to tell Batman to go fly a kite, then that pretty much says that, wow, it's like, hey, wait a minute, dude, he has the experience to lead us. So why don't we listen to him? And that's the whole point. Flash is willing to listen to him, and even Cyborg's willing to listen to him. It's Batman. So why not listen to him? And Arthur, and again, this goes back from the comics. Why the hell would the King of Atlantis want to listen to the Batman for? He's the King of Atlantis. So it makes sense. It has that personality clash that Arthur will always have with Bruce. But at the end of the day, Arthur starts to realize that if he wants to get his revenge against Steppenwolf and stop this invasion, he has to listen to Batman. He can't go off and do this himself. He will get killed. He is no match for freaking Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf will cut him in half. It's over. So he knows this. I felt that's a nitpick. That to me, Batman not leading the team, like telling them what to do. This is what we need to do. This being the Batman, then that kind of, to me, that kind of undercuts the movie. Having Wonder Woman kind of, in a way, kind of lead the team was weird. It was weird because Bruce just stood there and just looked at her like, okay, like what do we do? And I'm like, what? Okay, all right. I mean, it's Zack's movie. That's how he wanted to write it. But we have to kind of accept that. But me, I don't. I felt, where was his mind at in that? And I feel that it was more in the fact that Bruce just did not want to lead this team. He didn't want to lead the team. He wanted to give this team and then walk away. He was done being Batman. But by the final battle and Superman showing up and saving their butts and him finally becoming the hero that he meant to be, he realized that he completed his redemption arc by giving the world back Superman, and he can now see that he can't stop being Batman. He has to redeem himself in the eyes of Gotham now. He helped save the world. He redeemed himself with Superman and the rest of the team by him being the way he was in BVS, but now he has to redeem himself for the world by staying as Batman and inspiring new heroes. That's why I like the fact that he gave them Wayne Manor as the new Justice headquarters, the Justice League headquarters. So I like that, the Hall of Justice. So we're gonna get so he was trying to build the Hall of Justice as Wayne Manor. So I love that. The other negative, yes, that's a nitpick. That's a nitpick. I might go back to one of my negatives later after I talk a little bit about the positives, the true positives of this movie. The script is a whole lot better. Brandon Malone from Left of Media made an absolute great point. This movie is a superhero movie. There is little, I would say to me, there is a nil to when it comes to political correctness. It is a straightforward, uplifting movie that had these heroes in a pit with by themselves individually. Cyborg being an outcast about it, that he can't integrate into humanity because he's a half man, half machine. The fact that that the Flash is so fast that he sees things on such a minuscule level on speed that he feels that he's out of place. And he's always constantly moving all over the place and without settling down. Wonder Woman isolating herself away from humanity because she doesn't want to have her heart hurt any further. Arthur, him feeling like that he's betrayed by the surface, and him being betrayed by the Atlanteans. He just wants to say screw everybody and just do what he wants to do. So by the team being the way they are and having them in this massive pit, and them not looking at Superman as this great hero, because all of them did. I mean, even Arthur said, yeah, he kind of saw, he understood that about Superman, but he never saw him as an inspiration. He didn't care. Wonder Woman saw Superman as an inspiration. Flash saw him as an inspiration. So did Victor. They all saw him as an inspiration. Batman, from Bruce's perspective, because of what happened at Black Zero, he saw him as a threat. He didn't see him as a hero. He saw him as a threat. So again, by them all having these massive pits into despair, it was hard for them to unite because they all had these massive differences. But it did not feel politically incorrect. It did not feel like a politically correct movie. It felt like an uplifting movie that showed that these heroes are going to come together and build themselves into this league that's going to fight against all levels of evil. Another positive I really loved about this movie is the music. Now, listening to this track versus in Justice League, Danny Elfman just pretty much screwed the whole freaking movie up, because the only theme I liked in this whole movie, I still liked A Spark of the Flash. I still like it as a great theme for Flash. But man, Into the Speed Force by Tom Holkenberg, it blows that song out the water. I'm sorry. He understood what this character needed. And we're just so used to Danny Elfman's type of motif to these superhero films that we just go, okay, it's Danny Elfman, so it's going to always be great. No, he's done very bad scores. He has. And he never gave Cyborg a real good theme. He never gave Arthur a really good theme. He muddled up Wonder Woman's theme. He basically just said, I'm going to reuse my Batman theme and put it in for Batman's theme, which made no sense in this version of Batman. He's very comical, and that's not Batman. The Flash was a pretty good one, and he said, "Oh, I'm going to reuse John Williams's Superman score, and then I might use Ideal of Hope," but it was such a slap in the face to all the previous DC fans who loved the previous movies. It was horrible. It was very horrible. This one, it felt like everything was in place. You had the Flash with his theme, Wonder Woman with her theme, and they add this nice little element, this sound that actually in the first scenes of the movie you thought that was part of Wonder Woman's theme. No, it was a theme throughout all of them, and I think it was part of the theme for Steppenwolf, and it was really great. It felt really good. It felt like it was in there. You felt into the scene. And because of the music was so encompassing, it literally made the film it flowed much quicker, and also it did not feel like it was 4 hours. It really didn't. The breaks were in tuned. It felt like chapters to a novel, actually. It felt like chapters to a novel, and it made sense. And I really, really like that. I really like the fact that Tom Holkenberg took his time and he understood where Zack was going with these characters, and where he felt that this music was in this right place. And also, I do recommend go to his YouTube station and listen to him talk about how they were able to come up with these themes. I really hope he sits down and talks about the Flash's thing. One gentleman in the comment section when I was watching him do his Batman, it was oh my god, I love the freaking scores. The scores are beautifully done. He made it, and this individual made a really good comment. I really hope that you do one for the Flash. Talk about how you did the Flash. Where was your mindset? Where was Zack's mindset? Where was Ezra's mindset? How did you want to make this theme? Because the theme was great. the theme was great for the Flash, and him running into the Speed Force for the first time, and us seeing how he was going to do the Speed Force was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. And at the end of this, I will talk about, do I think it's better than Endgame, and that's going to be the biggest chunk of this video. But another positive, Superman felt like Superman. I don't care what anybody says. This Superman feels like Superman. He has the smirk, the smile, and he's beating the crap out of freaking Steppenwolf. He feels confident. He feels like, okay, I have to take care of this. This has to be done now. And that's Superman. I don't understand. This feels closer to the Superman from Justice League Unlimited. That's what it feels like. He has a no attitude situation. This guy's about to destroy my planet. I sacrificed myself for this planet. They brought me back. There was a reasoning to, and this was the reasoning to save the world again. Yes, screw this. I'm taking this dude out. He has to go. So I love how he did it. It felt like Superman. I don't understand how people can sit there and say that this isn't the Superman that you grew up with. Yes, it is. This is the Superman that you grew up with in the cartoon. This is the Superman that we all know. Okay, everybody just has right now. The people that are saying this negatively, they just have a bias against Zack Snyder because he won't bow to what they want. They want comical levels of movies, or it's quote unquote fun, but they don't understand what the word fun really means. Fun doesn't mean that everybody is going to sit back and laugh. Everybody's going to have some levels of emotion when it comes to these movies. There are people out there who love horror movies. They love gratuitous horror movies. They consider that fun. So just because you don't consider it fun doesn't mean that these movies are horrible. Okay, I'm sorry. That is a loaded statement in my personal opinion, and also it incites your level of ignorance. Okay, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's a horrible movie. Okay, it just means that you just don't like it. Okay, move on. So I personally think that that Superman is done right. This is the Superman that we all wanted. This is the Superman that we all wanted. He's confident. He has a full level of control of his powers. He understood what he can do. The ice breath still slightly came out of nowhere, but I feel that he would discuss this, like how he was able to do it, and it makes a little bit more sense. Because again, Zack is very meticulous about levels of details. That's one big that's my biggest positive about this movie. The Flash felt great. I really did understand Cyborg. I think that Ray Fisher really kind of shot himself in the foot. We'll talk about Hawk and I will talk about it a little bit later, because this movie really showed that he can actually act his way out of act really, really well. He can act on the same par as a lot of them, even like Ben. And Ben is the most seasoned actor next to Ezra Miller. He is the most seasoned actor. Ezra Miller has way more almost as much movie experience as Ben Affleck. Next to them is going to be Jason Momoa, because he's been on TV, he's done some movies, he's done some independent movies, he's done a lot of stuff. The ones that doesn't have as much is going to be Gal, Ray, and even Henry. But Henry has a little bit more. He's like almost in between. So, but this is like what, his fourth or fifth movie that he's been in already, maybe his sixth. So I mean, we're gonna get a lot more with Henry, but we have to see how everything works out. We know what's gonna happen with WB. In my personal opinion, I think that they're gonna really get themselves into a massive pickle, and they're gonna get screwed. They're gonna get completely screwed at the very end of the day. So we'll talk about that in another video. This about Zack Snyder's Justice League. The film grading was a whole lot better. It felt movie-esque. Also, the scenes felt more flow. There was a flow to it. They didn't feel jumbled. It didn't feel like they were trying to rush to get from point A to point B to point C to point D in a movie. It felt like, no, you need these little bit of scenes in there so you can understand where the characters are at, especially Lois. We didn't get Lois throughout the whole movie, and that sucks in Joss's version. In Joss's version, we didn't get Lois at all. In this one, we understood where Lois is at. She was so detached from her life that basically it took Martian Manhunter to literally go in there as Martha, as Superman's mom, to tell her, hey, you need to go back to humanity. You cannot isolate yourself away from people. That's not what Clark would want. And she realizes that, and she went back to work. And that's when she went back to work. And then she said, you know what, this is the last time she's ever going to come back down here. She's going to get herself back into her work. And then that's the day that Superman showed back up again. So it was great. We understood where Lois was at. We didn't really need to know where Martha was at. We know that she's a simple farm woman that's now living on her own. And the fact that her son was gone, she basically sold the house. So there's no and she says it was just too big. No, there's just too many memories. It was just too many memories, and she cannot mentally and emotionally be in a house where her husband and her son died, and she can't be in that house anymore. It's just too many memories. She'll go into a massive depression and she'll die. So she had to get herself off that farm, sell the farm, and get herself into her own little apartment and work and just keep herself happy. So she had to move on, and it shows the strength of Martha Kent. It showed the strength of Martha Kent because Lois was just stay in that apartment and died, and that's what happened to her. She basically was going to stay in that apartment and do some online blogging or whatever to keep doing some level of reporting, but she would have stayed in that place and died, and that would have been the end of her. So I really liked how Zack was doing that to show how two ladies in Superman's life were handling his death and grief. That one said, no, I got to move on. The other one says, no, I got to stay in the past. I like that. Now let's get into, now again, this is going to be a semi spoiler. I'm going to reveal some things. I'm going to reveal not a lot. The one thing I liked about this was he changed everything up, because he stated that there was some statements run around that saying that the first sequence of the movie was going to be the history lesson. They cut that out. They moved it someplace else. They basically put it where Wonder Woman revealed what happened 5,000 years ago, and that was the one thing that made us go, how did? Well, we knew that how Wonder Woman did, but the way they did it was they masked it by showing us the very beginnings of it. They showed us at the very beginning of the movie how the battle for Earth. Now, one of Brandon's biggest negatives was that he said that Darkseid basically came to this planet, this primitive planet, and he found out that the anti-life equation was there, got defeated, and they forgot completely about it. Yes and no, and I will agree with him and disagree with him. Now, this is our introduction to Darkseid. The way that they try to construct the scenes is say that he just arrived on that planet. He wasn't searching for the anti-life equation. He was just getting on some random planets and destroying it to basically find where the anti-life equation was at. So he just came to a primitive planet, and that's what happened. I agree with him on that. In my personal opinion, I think that Zack should never did Darkseid as the one that did it. It should have been Steppenwolf. In my personal opinion, I think that's where Joss and Jeff Johns actually made a better decision than Zack did. You should have just had Steppenwolf, the one that did it. And that's why he exiled himself from Darkseid, because he lost. He didn't know the anti-life equation was there until the Mother Box told him. When the Mother Box told Steppenwolf that your defeat was never a true defeat. You basically got defeated, but you found that this is the planet that has the anti-life equation. That's why in my personal opinion, if they did it that way, that it was Steppenwolf that got defeated, that's why the Amazonians were insanely scared, because Steppenwolf showed back up on that planet. The gods are gone. The Atlanteans are not with them. The tribes of men are not with them. The individuals in the stars, the heroes from space are not here. So they're going, we're gonna die. So by Steppenwolf being the one that came to Earth first, destroyed everything, and then got defeated by the gods and all of them, and he basically got pissed off. He should have put himself in exile until he retrieved those mother boxes, because that was the first thing he needed. He needed those Unity boxes. Once he got those Unity boxes back, he was going to go off and do what the heck he wanted. But when he finally got them, and they showed to him that, no, dude, this is the world that you need to tell our Lord. This belongs to Darkseid. And that's what made him go, that he will get his services back. He can go back home. So when he goes and tells that to Desaad and Darkseid, and he tells Darkseid that Earth has the mother box, has the anti-life equation, he goes, "Are you kidding me?" Not like that, but he goes, They prepare everything, and I will go there myself. He's like, you what? That would have been a much better scene because it would have shocked him. Like, no, I'm coming there. Prepare the planet, and I will arrive, and we will take it over, and I will take it over. But make sure that you start the process. So that would have made a lot more sense instead of having Darkseid, because that muddled that, and I agree with it. That muddled the whole sequence. I like the fact that that Batman was the one trying to gather the heroes. He went to go find Arthur, found Arthur, and I love the fact that you find out that he actually was speaking Icelandic. He understood their language, and he was just being stupid about it. So when he started telling him, he started going, "Oh, what the?" And that's what started him grabbing him and throwing him against and pinning him against the wall, because he's like, "Oh, so you're Arthur Curry." He knew he was Arthur Curry. He knew it. I mean, it's Batman. He knows. That's why I felt that he did Batman right, but he also messed up Batman. He should have made him the leader. So they did their little sequence, and then and Arthur leaves. And he had this weird song sung by these three chicks, that one of them was singing a song to Arthur, which is kind of strange because it didn't make a little bit of sense. Like, are they worshiping him because he's a god? I don't know. It sounded like a ballad. It sounded like a love ballad. But again, there's not much context to it, so I don't understand where they were going. I don't understand where he was going with that. But it sounded like a ballad that it sounded like a ballad that they were trying to sing. They were trying to sing to him, and that was cool. I like that. We catch up with Barry. We find out about Barry, and that's when he first meets Iris, and I also, again, you could say it's a loaded statement, but I personally feel that I'm getting very upset over them changing races just because. And I have nothing against the actress playing as Iris. I have nothing against the actress herself, but I felt that they should have did the classic Iris West. I really think so. We do have a black Iris on the TV show. We get to see her all the time. I would like for everybody to get the understanding of the classic Iris West storyline. So I really hope that I don't know. We're gonna see how Andy Muschicelli does it, but I think they're gonna go with I forgot her name. She the Iris from Zack's movie. So we're gonna go with that version. We got him. He uses powers for the first time in a beautiful freaking sequence. He grabs her, holds her, and then he basically grabs a hot dog, and the thing the car flies over. The guy freaking does it because he was grabbing for a cheeseburger, which is stupid as hell. I can't believe this guy was driving in the middle of a city with a gigantic truck, and he drops a cheeseburger to the ground, and he decides that, oh yeah, I gotta go reach for my cheeseburger, or I'm hungry, I gotta get my cheeseburger. That makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense to me. I think that was irresponsible and dumb. But then we catch up with we catch up with Cyborg. We understand what's going on with Cyborg. Then we get to the big piece sequence where Steppenwolf goes and attacks the Amazonians, basically wrecks them. Great sequence. Steppenwolf looks phenomenal. He looks horrific. It feels much more like he is a monster. I think he was done very well. Sorry about that. I think he was done very, very well. I think that the voice fit the motif of the character. He doesn't feel too CGI, but he felt like he was in the scene very, very well. There are tiny bits where you could see the CGI, and Brandon made a good point. It was like they kind of rushed through it a little bit, and that's because Zack didn't have a lot of money, maybe, or it was time constraints. We don't know. But I think that they're gonna polish that up by the time the 4K release and everything is done. They're gonna get that all polished out, because they're gonna do 4K, and they can't afford that to be ugly on a 4K. They can't afford that. Zack is not gonna afford that. AT&T is not gonna afford that. A lot of the proceeds of this movie is gonna go to WB. I don't know why they don't want to go continue forward with this, because anything that has it's gonna have their label on it. It's gonna have the WB label on it. It's gonna have AT&T's label on it. They're gonna make money because people are gonna buy this. Okay, so we get the big fight sequence with the League, and also with against Steppenwolf for the first time inside the tunnel. Great sequence. Steppenwolf he played with Wonder Woman throughout the whole film. I loved it. I think that he was formidable for the League until Superman showed up, which was kind of like eh. But I understand why. That's the thing. I understand why. I just felt that Steppenwolf should have proven himself that if Superman showed up, they're still in a problem. They're still in a pickle. That Superman is strong enough, but it's like, no, this dude is still a formidable warrior. So that's what I felt like. I felt that he should never got one shotted like by Superman so bad. It should have been like, Superman's like, oh wow, this guy's actually pretty tough, and he just was beating the crap out of Superman all over the place. It's not like he can truly hurt him. It's like he could bash him. And he's going, oh wow, like he's fighting another Kryptonian. That's pretty much how it should be. The tunnel sequence was great. And also the final sequence, I really like the fact that the team started to slowly work together. I like the fact that also Cyborg was very, very obstinate. He was very like, stay away from me, and he was trying to work with the team, and he was trying to find his humanity through every situation. I like the final battle sequence. It flowed a whole lot better. You knew where everybody was doing. The only person that was kind of out of the battle was Wonder Woman, but they wanted to show everybody do their own thing. Batman, Aquaman, Cyborg, and the Flash. It made sense. The Parademons truly felt like a monstrous team. They felt formidable against the Leaguers, so that was a good thing. So they finally, one of the greatest sequence in the whole film was the battle between Superman and the League. They kept the scene where Flash ran up the thing and Superman started catching him in his eyeball. That was the greatest scene out of the whole movie. Greatest scene. And then you get an extension of that, and he just starts beating the crap out of all of them. It was great. It showed that Wonder Woman was useless. She could not beat Superman. Sorry, she cannot beat Superman. But again, she wasn't going full tilt. We don't know what her weapon can do against him. I don't want to hear, well, she can use magic. No, it doesn't matter. We don't know if magic can hurt him. We don't know. You can only assume. Okay, you can't sit there and you cannot say something in a movie that has not been done yet. Okay, that's the whole thing of why people had a problem with Justice League. Where did he get the ice breath from? Where did he get the ice breath from? Where did he get that power from? That makes no sense. Okay, that was never part of his power set. Where did it come from? Okay, now Zack did the same thing. He just had the ice breath and destroy, but it got tainted by the fact that these guys did it. That these guys did that. That's what happened. That's where it really messed up at, and it just showed right there that it just showed that they just didn't care. They just wanted people to have all these powers, and they're set and they're ready to go. So I liked it, and also we have the understanding of how powerful Barry really is. He went into the Speed Force. He healed his body. I like how they showed how he was holding himself there, and his body just sealed right back up, and he was able to continue running. I like how they did that because yes, Barry can speed heal. It's insane. He's very, very powerful. I like the fact that when he ran, everything started to go really slow, and his electricity was going all over the place. And when he looked, you saw the explosion go big, and then it started going real slow backwards. And that's when he was starting to run, and he saw, oh, it was beautiful. And he was running, and you heard him say he has to concentrate on the present. He can't concentrate on the past. He can't concentrate on the future. He has to concentrate on where he's going because again, he says if he goes too fast, and he says if he goes into the Speed Force, he doesn't know where he'll go up. He doesn't know where he'll go. And it's really cool how he put in that nice little line to make you understand that, yeah, that makes sense because that's how it is in the comics. and he uses electricity to actually put the energy back into Cyborg so he can have enough juice to actually separate the boxes. So he sped back in time after the explosion, and so you saw everybody's bodies go. That was cool. Superman was dead. That was interesting. Everybody came back, and then he went, and then you saw Cyborg defeat the will of the Unity boxes, and then he was screaming out Superman, and Superman came over and they separated the boxes and everything. He saw Darkseid just look at them. The portal opens, and then Steppenwolf got up, and Superman took him out, and then Wonder Woman cut his head off. His body flew through the portal, and he saw his head land right underneath Darkseid's boot, and he crushed it. He killed him. I mean, well, not killed him, but yeah, just crushed his head basically. And then he looked up, and you see the Leaguers looking at him. You see Darkseid go, and he smirks, and then the portal closes. I like that. That was cool. That just showed them that he's looking at these Leaguers, and he's going, okay, these are my enemies. So obviously we saw Desaad. We always see the person next to him, the other person next to him. That's Granny. We know that's Granny Goodness. So he told him that we're going to go back to the old ways. So prepare his armada. We're going back to the old ways. And I'm like, okay, what's the old ways? So that's an open end. And then we get where everybody's at. No stupid freaking race between Superman and the Flash, because why the hell would they do that? That makes absolutely no sense. We also get that the nightmare sequence is still gonna happen. That's a possibility. That is a massive possibility that it can happen. And also them saying that they brought back Superman, it set the future into motion. So everything is going to be set into motion the moment Superman got brought back. I like that. That just shows it's another open-ended question. And the fact that we saw further into the nightmare sequence, we saw that Joker survived. Throughout the whole situation, Joker survived, and he's working with Batman. But Batman flat out told him that once this is over, I'm going to kill you. And Joker's sitting there going, oh, you're not going to kill me. You need me. He goes, nah. As basically when I was holding Harley Quinn, her dying body in my arms, she cursed me. She cursed you and she asked me to kill you. And he's like, and he put his finger up, and we know that he's in there going, oh, you got me. He's in there going, uh-huh. And he walked away. He saw Deathstroke going, you think we could trust that guy? He goes, no, but we need him. So, and that's when Superman shows up, and and then they're going, oh crap. And then that's the end of the nightmare sequence. So I like that. I like that they gave us that, and it shows that sequence can happen. That can happen. And I like how that Zack was foreboding this. Like, this is going to happen. We're going to get that nightmare sequence in another frame. So, but I also do like the fact that I hate the fact that we could not get Green Lantern that shows up and talks to Bruce, but we got Martian Manhunter, and I like that. So it's another thing. And now, since we know that, we don't know anything yet, so I'm not gonna say what my hypothesis and everything else. So, but it shows that Martian Manhunter says that he's here to help, and he's gonna help them if he needs them. And he says, okay, great, we got another alien. And he goes and he flies off. So we got that. I liked it. I think it was a great way of introducing Martian Manhunter, and I like his introduction to Martian Man. I like his design for Martian Manhunter. It looks so much better. It looks so much better than freaking the TV show. I'm sorry. The TV show wasted John. I'm sorry, they wasted him. So we got that, and the whole farm thing where Bruce bought the bank that has the farm under lease. So basically, their home is their home. So it's gonna be well done. I like that part, and it shows their friendship is starting to grow. And now Brandon said that he wishes there was a redemption, the finale of the redemption. I think that's what that scene was. That's the finale to Bruce's redemption. That he basically is giving Superman his childhood home, his family's together, and he has a second chance at life. I think that's the end of Batman's redemption arc, and now he can move forward for himself. And I think I believe that's what Zack wanted to do, and it makes sense to the course of his storyline throughout the whole movie. But again, that's just a rough of the spoilers. I can't spoil a 4 hour movie for you. I think you should watch it. It is a phenomenal piece of art. It is so much better than Justice League. It is so much better. Okay, now this is the part where this is going to be the biggest chunk of my review. Um, and a lot of people, and even Brandon did it too. And I think that a lot of people need to understand this. You have 10 plus movies on the left hand side build up to Endgame, while we only had three. Let's just say it's Man of Steel, BVS, and Snyder cuts Justice League. That's pretty much what it is. You can't say Wonder Woman and Aquaman. Those happen. The Wonder Woman is supposed to be so far in the past. I mean, a lot of things can happen. And Aquaman is supposed to take place after Snyder's cut of the movie. So, and that's by Jason Momoa. So that was one of his little pings on them. So, what do I think? Now listen, I know in a lot of videos we talked about my bias versus my bias of the Marvel movies and everything else. Yes, I'm pro DC movies, but I'm going to be pro Zack Snyder DC films more than WB, because I think that WB is going to shoot themselves in the foot massively. And I think Kevin Feige on the other side of the spectrum is actually going to start, because they now got everything underneath their house. He could start doing whatever the heck he wants, and it's going to become a massive cluster screw, because they don't have a consistent storyline writer to make sure that their continuity is coincides with any previous movies. And that's one of the biggest drawbacks of the Marvel movies. Now, here's the thing, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Do I think Endgame is a beautiful film? I think it was a good film. I think it was a good film. The problem I had with Endgame, and I'm not putting Justice League in the middle of this. The problem I had with Endgame was their storyline made absolutely no sense in Infinity War and in Endgame, because it made no sense at all. And here's the reasonings why. One, Tony Stark should have been the villain. And I'm not saying the villain of Endgame and Infinity War. No. In Civil War, Tony Stark should have been the true villain of the movie. He should have had an angry streak. He should have been evil. Not evil, but he should have been a very bad guy. But there was a reasoning behind why he was being himself, why he was being this way. I've said this numerous times to various people. I think I may have said it in my Endgame review. The one thing you should have shown in in my Captain America Civil War review, and I think I'm going to watch the movie, and I'm going to redo another review so you guys get a better understanding. You should have had, instead of that goofy scene where the woman came up and started screaming at Tony saying, "You killed my son," all this and that because of what happened in Avengers 2, what you should have had is that you should have had Thunderbolt Ross walk up to him, and Tony's at the lowest point of his life. And he goes, "You know what? I remember a scene. I remember a time a long time ago." And he says the amount of years it's been, where a young punk superhero just walked up to me when I was sitting in the gutter myself and said, "I'm building a team. And I thought this was going to be a great team. But boy, was I wrong." And then that's where we get Thunderbolt Ross talking to Tony, and he proposes to him the Sokovia Accords. And he knows he can't propose this to Steve. He knows that Steve will say, "Screw you, no." If he proposes to anybody else, he'll say no. But he knows that Tony will convince him, because if Tony can't convince him, then no one can convince him. So that's the reasoning why. And also he tells this Tony, if you don't do this, and if you don't sign, you're going to lose every ounce of patents throughout the United States. We'll pull every ounce of your fundings. You will lose United States government contracts. That's going to destroy his business. He knows it. It'll destroy him. Right now, at the present point in time, he needs the United States government's money. He needs it. It's the foundation of his company. He has not made his company independent from other contracts. He needs United States government's money. He needs it. So that's what happens. He tells him, "Nope. And this is what you're going to do." And then on top of that, we'll consider the Avengers a rogue combatant against the United States. And so that's what they should have did with Tony. Tony should have been very obstinate about it. And then when the Winter Soldier shows up, and you come to find out that Winter Soldier actually killed his parents, that's what cemented the fact that he started to hate Steve, because he feels that Steve is the reason why all of this has happened. All of this, everything that's been going on, it's all Steve's fault. Now in the movie, I felt that they did Steve right in some ways, but they screwed him in other ways. One, Steve wouldn't have never even thought about signing that piece of paper. Now, people's defense will say, well, he didn't. I go, you don't understand what I'm saying. He would have never even put that in his consideration that he would have signed. He said in the movie, he goes, he said it. I read it. I've considered signing it. I went, what? Steve would never have signed it. He would have said no. Because the point of the Avengers is we do not go under the scrutiny of the United States government. We are outside the United States government. We work with the United States government. We work with the world, with the UN. That's the whole point of the Avengers. We are an international group, but we're superheroes that actually police ourselves. That's the whole point of all of this. So that's how they should have built the whole movie. Natasha would have never signed that piece of paper. She never would have done it. She'd have told Tony, no, I'm not going to do it. I know what happens. She's a Russian. She knows what happened if she goes underneath the eye of the government. Remember, they still have all of her paperwork from when she was being a spy. SHIELD had all that information. That means the United States government has that information. Those are small little details. So why the heck would she do it? Just because she doesn't want her family to break up? That's not Natasha Romanoff. Okay? She's a pretty offstandish person. Yes, she cares and loves the team, but the fact is that she's still a spy, and she still likes Steve. She doesn't want to be under nobody's thumb. Why the heck would she do that? Steve would never do that. That's not what Steve is about either. So that's the whole point I'm saying. They should have made it where there were divine lines between it. Scarlet Witch should have been considering it. Vision should have been considering it. War Machine should have been considering it. And Hawkeye said, nope, I'm not doing that. That's why he quit. He said, no, I'm not doing it. He quit right after Avengers 2. He said, because he knew that this was going to be a backlash. He said, nope, no thank you, and he quit. And Banner and Thor would have said no. Thor would have said, hell no. I'm the son of Odin. I'm a god. I'm not under the thumb of under your yes men. No thank you. So that's why you should have had this huge level divide, and it's all due to the fact that Tony was very obstinate about trying to keep the team together and say, screw it, let's just do this and we can figure out a way out from under it. But he didn't realize that Steve told him that if you sign this, it's ironclad. You cannot get underneath this. You cannot get out of it, no matter what you do. No matter if it changed governments or you get rid of these people, it doesn't matter. We are under the thumb of the government permanently. And if we don't do it, we're get thrown in jail. And that's the point. Now, because of that, and at the end of the movie, you should never have had that whole thing where Steve gave him that phone. He should have crushed the phone and basically threw it away and said, nope. He knows he's not going to find Steve because the way the phone is made, and Steve knows that basically they're going to find him. So he's not gonna do it. That's why I felt that him giving him the phone was really, really weird. This should have been a civil war. This should have been a massive split of the Avengers. But they didn't do that. They just made them like, we disagree. We're just not gonna see each other right now. It's like, what? What? I didn't feel any massive levels of dread because of the Avengers are not gonna be in. I mean, I understand they're going to have to team up for the Infinity War, but if you did it right in the first movie, literally the moment Banner came back and said, he's coming, and they're going, who? He goes, Thanos. And dude, that's right, should have been like, oh no. Like, he should have been like, uh-oh. He should know what the hell's going on. He's the Sorcerer Supreme. He's been the Sorcerer Supreme for a couple of years now. You don't think he's been finding out that somebody's been gathering the Infinity Gems all over the place? That makes no sense. This is the Sorcerer Supreme. So I felt that they should have had it where somebody knew what the hell was going on with Thanos, instead of just Gamora and like not even a third, but like a sixth of the freaking Guardians of the Galaxy, because she kept that secret away from all of them that he's been gathering the gems this whole time, and they didn't tell her. She didn't tell him anything. That was very dickish. Like, she didn't tell nobody anything. That was stupid. Um, um, Also, in Infinity War, I felt that Spider-Man was a massive comic relief in the movie. He didn't feel like Spider-Man. And I understand that because that's how people see Spider-Man, but that's not Spider-Man. When something like this happens, Peter cuts out the jokes a little bit. He tones down the jokes. He gets serious because he knows that this is a serious matter. But when things get very intense, he kind of throws out a crack. That's it. And he stops after that because they all look at him. He goes, sorry. And that's it. That's Peter. He just stops. He stops and he gets serious. So I hated the fact that they reduced Spider-Man down to comic relief in that movie. And I'm not saying he should be wise and knows. No, what I'm saying is Peter should look at the situation and went, okay, you know what? They don't need me cracking jokes. They need me to get a little serious here. A little serious. That was one of the bigger problems. The Avengers were not completely splintered. Endgame was horrible when it came down to Thor. Thor felt like Thor in Infinity War. That was Thor. I liked how they did that. Thor in Endgame was horrendous. He was horrendous because I don't know what the heck they did with him, but they completely crapped all over his character and they destroyed him. Banner Hulk did not feel like the Hulk. They did not feel like Banner and the Hulk. He just felt like, I'm just one of the guys, dude. And it's like he merged with the Hulk because the Hulk was sick and tired of getting beaten up. He's the Hulk. He's the Hulk. That's his purpose. He takes punishment, gets angry, and he says, I'm the strongest one there is. What the heck are you doing? They turned the two alpha males of the team into comic relief. And people lorded over it like, oh, this was great. We got Potbelly Thor. Wait a minute. He's a Viking warrior. He's a Viking god. And you turn him into a Potbelly, a Big Lebowski guy. That's what you turned him into. And you justified it by giving us Potbelly Thor in the comics. So what? He is the son of Odin. Where did you see? Here's the thing. In the first movie, he lost his brother. Did he start drinking himself into a stupor? No. He couldn't go back to Earth. He had to stay in the Nine Realms to protect the Nine Realms from Loki's BS. Did he drink himself into a stupor in Thor 2: The Dark World? No. He became more humble. He became a little bit more human. He didn't do the more and smash the cup on the ground like the rest of them were doing. He didn't do that. He was being more. He was having hubris over himself. He was being more reserved. When he lost his mother, did Odin go into a drunken stupor and grow fat over the course of the year, over the course of the time? No, he became silent and angry. Did Thor do it at all too? No, he didn't do it. He got angry. He was sad and somber because his mother is dead, but he was trying to be more as a reserved king like his dad wanted him to be. But his dad said, nope, we're going to wipe out we're going to wipe out those elves. Bye. So I'm like, okay, because that's Odin. That's Odin. And that's Thor. They don't just drink themselves into a massive stupor and grow fat. They get angry. And he didn't get angry. His brother finally gets killed in front of him. His brother finally gets killed. Loki gets his neck snapped and gets killed in front of him. He had no power to do anything. And he grew angry in Infinity War. He got so pissed off. He says, nope, I need another hammer. I'm going to put this hammer between your eyeballs. I'm going to plant it right in your head. I'm going to go for the head next time. That's how Thor was. I didn't understand what the hell they did to him in Endgame. They turned him into massive comic relief, and All these MCU fans got lorded over the fact that that was great. I go, huh? That makes no sense to levels to the character at all. You departed the character. Throughout most of these movies, Banner did not feel like Banner. The Hulk did not feel like Hulk. I'm sorry, he didn't. In the first Avengers movie, that was the Hulk. That was Banner. He can get angry, but he can reserve his anger so he doesn't transform. He can get distressed, but he can't do it to a point where his testosterone starts to build up and he starts to transform. He has to be careful about that, but he can get angry. And I like that. In the first Avengers. But the rest of the Avengers movies, nope, they turn him into comic relief. And then I don't know what the heck happened to him in Thor Ragnarok. That movie, screw that movie. That movie is horrible. Sorry. That movie's horrible. All right, sorry about that. I had to drink some water. All right. Now, Endgame had a huge problem when it came to their time traveling principle. They first said it was time travel, but then they went to alternate dimensions. And a lot of us were like, it's so confusing. They did not know what the hell they were doing. The Russos were horrible, and I think that was mainly due to the fact that Kevin Feige was over their shoulder telling them what he thinks they need to be doing. Sorry. That's what I think happened. And I think that the Russos did not understand what concepts of time travel they were talking about. They're trying to make it comic booky, but then they didn't know what the hell they were doing. Because the way it was explained in the movie, and I'll try to break it down because this movie had a horrible concept about time travel. While I'll tell a reason why Zack's was superior. Banner, who's a nuclear physicist, not a quantum theorist. He's not a quantum theorist. That's quantum theory. That's astrophysics and quantum astrophysics. That's a lot out of his pay grade. That's honestly out of Tony Stark's pay grade. I don't know how Tony Stark was able to figure that out. It's stupid. Not even Paul Rudd's Scott Lang will be able to figure it out. He's a physicist. He's an engineer and a physicist. How did he figure it out? But they were trying to say that what they do here matters. But when they go into the past, it's not the past as you think that it is. It's an alternate world. And I'm like, what? Then that's alternate realities, bro. That means you tapped into the alternate universe. You tapped into the multiverse. Why did they say time travel? It was never time travel. Because if that was the case, then that means that in all honesty, one, they could have brought Vision back to life. They could have just brought him back. They could have brought him. Said, here you go. Here's Vision. Scarlet Witch would have been perfectly happy with that. They could have done a whole bunch of other things. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, this is the part that really made me go, huh? They destroyed the Infinity Gems and the Gauntlet. I'm like, you destroyed the Infinity Gems? You can't destroy them. But in the movie they could. They destroyed the Infinity Gems. That's impossible. Because again, they don't understand the concept of how things are done in the comic books. The Infinity Gems are a physical representation of the aspects of the universe. So if you destroy the Infinity Gem of time, you destroy time itself. If you destroy the Infinity Gem of reality, you destroy reality itself. That's why they're physical representations of the universe. So they can't destroy them. You can't just destroy them. So I felt that they just did that because they wanted to have a reason, a quote unquote reason, and that was a horrible reason. It was dumb. Then the whole thing with Steve, after they were finally done, Steve went back into those alternate dimensions to fix everything, put everything back to where they were supposed to be, even Mjolnir. And I was like, who the hell cares? It's an alternate world. Who the hell cares? Just keep the hammer. The hammer recognizes him as Thor. He's the same Thor. Oh my God, it's dumb. It's weird and it's stupid. So they did that, and then he legitimately went back into the past and stayed with Peggy. which goes against everything of Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers started to build a relationship with Sharon Carter. What happened with that? You just threw that all away. Peggy said, I had my life. Go and live yours. That was in Winter Soldier. She died in Civil War. Yes, he should be depressed, but in Civil War, he was making out with freaking Sharon Carter. So why in the heck would he just say, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna go back and go be with Peggy. What? That goes against everything of Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers would listen to Peggy and say, you know what? I gotta move forward. He can't dwell on the past. He just left his best friend. He saved his life, and he leaves his best friend to go be with a chick. And his best friend, and Bucky's gonna go, yeah, I understand. What? He would have been like, dude, no. I think that she had her life, man. I mean, stay here. What happened to the other girl? Even the Birdman would have said that. Like, wait a minute, man. But none of them, they're all like, no, it's Steve's reasons. He's Captain America. He deserves it. Everybody said that Steve deserves to have a happy ending. But what about Sharon Carter? They were just starting their romance. And I actually like those two characters together. They're perfectly fine together. It made no sense. And then everybody's supposed to be emotionally impacted by Tony's death. I was not emotionally impacted by it. And that was due to the fact that they did not do well with Tony's character. You didn't feel his despair. You didn't feel his emotion throughout everything. You artificially felt for him because you understood the situation that he was in, but you didn't feel the emotion that he was in. And that's not due to his acting. It was just due to the fact of the writing. If they really wanted to gut and impact everything into his death, while he was slowly dying, he should have said, I want to speak to Steve and Bucky. And both of them walk forward. And they walk forward, and he's like, and he goes, hey pal. He goes, and you see a tear just rolling down his eye, rolling down his cheek, and he says, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And he's like, what? He goes, I'm sorry I did what I did. You were not the bad guy. I was the bad guy. He goes, no. He goes, no. I want to say I'm sorry, and I'm sorry to you. He says, I'm sorry to you too, Bucky. You may have killed my mom and dad, but that's not the real you. And you had the emotion, and you got swelling music, and then you have Steve just going. He looks at Bucky, and Bucky's just going. And you see him just getting emotional because he's like, he killed his best friend Howard. Howard remembered him. He's like, James, and he goes and breaks his neck. You're like, whoa, and shot him. He know that was Bucky. He was like, wait a minute, you're supposed to be dead. He goes, nope, you're dead. So I mean, and it's an emotional wreck for Bucky because that's the end of Civil War. By Tony saying, I'm sorry, I was wrong, then that ends Civil War. And that ends the rivalry that he has with Steve because he's dying. And he says, you know what, I am sorry for everything I did. And he tells him a code. And you know what the code is? The code is the information that Tony built up to try to get them from under the Sokovia Accords. And it works. It works. Okay? So that's my biggest, those are a few. Another one was, how in the hell, and they said in the movie, this is not something that I just came up with or anything. No, they stated in the movie to utilize the power of the Infinity Gems and the Gauntlet, you have to have a very strong levels of will and a strong level of will and determination. You got to have mental and physical will. So you got to have very strong will. That's why the Hulk said that. That's why Banner says, "Oh, as a Hulk, I'm the strongest one there is." And he got his arm. He almost got his arm blown off. And that was using the power of the Uru Gauntlet that they got from the dwarf, and all that other stuff. And Banner and Lang and Tony helped create it. But you're telling me that Tony Stark builds a new set of armor that's able to house the power of the gems, and his arm, and he didn't just blow himself into pieces. His arm should have been gone. He should have been gone. Just by him trying to do the snap. But he was able to do the snap a lot easier and was able to save everybody's life. You're telling me that Tony Stark was able to build something from not made of Uru to do that. And if anybody tells me, well, it must have been made out of Uru, then his armor, he should have did a much better defense against freaking Thanos. Because we know because Uru can hurt Thanos. Or Thor would have been doomed. And so would have freaking and so would have Captain America when he got the hammer. But Tony he almost got his armor completely scrapped. So it wasn't made of Uru. It was made of the regular metals that he had of his regular stuff. But he was able to channel that. It was stupid. It was just, they just made that up just so they can give Tony that moment of be the hero of the whole story. And circle, people use that as a circle of Steve telling Tony that he's not the person that's willing to put his life on the line and jump on the grenade. And I'm like, you guys justified that? That was a dumb scene because there should have been no way he should have done that. You're telling me Tony Stark has more mental will than Bruce Banner, who has to deal with controlling his emotions, and he has the unabided strength of the Hulk. He has more. No, that's stupid. That's dumb. That makes no sense. And I'm looking at the two of them in this picture, and I'm going, are you kidding me? It's dumb. And then they kill Black Widow for no apparent reason, and you're supposed to feel sorry that she's dead. I went, they killed Black Widow? Why? Clint's character, his arc was done. His arc was done. Oh, that's right. They have a TV show coming out with them in it, and they're gonna introduce Kate Bishop, so they gotta have Hawkeye. But Black Widow's done. They're not going to do anything with her anymore. And then now they have a movie coming out with her in it. A movie that we've been waiting for I don't know, 6-7 years. They should have did the Black Widow movie right after Avengers 2. That movie should have been in production. But Kevin Feige didn't want to do it. He didn't believe the movie was going to be successful enough. I'm like, are you kidding me? You got Scarlett Johansson in tight leather outfits. You're telling me it's not going to be dude, even if you make $600 million, that's still a hit. I mean, how much money you want to put into this movie? Dude, you could put 120 million into this movie and make 600 million. You're golden. Well, I don't understand. If you make over $600 million, you're golden. I don't understand that. You have Scarlett Johansson in tight leather outfits. She's one of the most beautiful freaking actresses in Hollywood, and you're basically not doing that? That is dumb. That's dumb. And I still say to this day, Kevin Feige was stupid, and I know he felt stupid. He should have did it a long time ago, before Wonder Woman came out. But then the moment Wonder Woman came out, guess what? Oh, it made money? Oh, well, now we're going to do Black Widow. We're going to do Ms. Marvel. We're going to do this and this and this because Marvel does it right. No, they did it because DC was the first one that did it because they had the risk. But then you guys have all the media on your side at the time, and it screwed them in the bigger pooch. Because Kevin Feige is a used car salesman. Sorry. Okay? There was a lot of other things, but those are the biggest ones. Those are the biggest things that made no sense in Endgame, and it was a horrible, horrible movie. Horrible when it came to that. It was a good movie as a Saturday afternoon movie to watch. If you have nothing else to watch, pop in Endgame and just get some and watch it. But now, Justice League, Snyder's Justice League, the time travel was a lot easier to explain. And Barry explained it in the movie. He easily explained it. He says, well, I have to concentrate on what I have to do, because if I run too fast and I'll go too far in the future or the past, and I don't know what happens. He's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Because if he goes, he doesn't know what happens. He might run to the past and never be able to come back to the present. He doesn't know. It's a fear of the unknown for him. He's like, I don't want to do that. He doesn't know he doesn't know what's going to happen. But we do know what's going to happen because he has Cyborg, and Cyborg can calculate all those calculations in his head within days. He can make all those massive calculations and see what would happen if Barry goes back in the past and how much speed this is, and figure out all the alternate possibilities. That's the whole thing about Cyborg's character. He is a living computer that has the brain functions of a human, the creativity of the human, but the power and the power and the mechanics and the mathematics of a computer. So he could do whatever the heck he wants. The cyber world is his playground. He is a god there. Nobody can beat him. I would say if you put Cyborg in the MCU, he would rule over everybody. There's nothing he can do. Ultron would be a joke. Tony Stark's armor will just fall right off of him. He'd be like, your armor's done. It'll all fall off. He's like, hey, wait a minute. What? He'll say, your heart. He goes, no. What? Your heart should stop. And that's the end of Tony Stark. The only person that will give him a massive problem would be, I'm sorry to say, would be Hulk, Thor, and maybe Captain America. Maybe Captain America. But Thor and Hulk would rip him apart. He would rip him apart. But if he analyzes his armor, analyzes his DNA, analyzes that Uru, that's the end of freaking Thor. And, well, Hulk is Hulk. He'll just give him up, and that's the end of freaking Hulk. He'll go and trank him, and that's it. Enough trank to knock him completely out. So he'll just go, ugh. He'll fall off and become Banner again. Again, Cyborg is not weak. He's actually extraordinarily powerful. He's just underused to the point where not people know. But the time travel aspect in Snyder's was a lot better digestible because he didn't know. So we don't know. They tried to explain it and it made absolutely no sense. That's why we had all those scenes and all this other stuff. So they were trying to give you all these comical scenes and it made absolutely no sense because it's supposed to be the past, right? If it's the past, it's supposed to affect the future. No, it doesn't affect the future per se. It's supposed to affect that time's future. That means you're in an alternate reality. That's how we try to explain it. It makes absolutely no sense. And you're having a nuclear physicist explaining quantum theory. In astrophysical theory, in astro-quantum physics. This is like high level scientific fringe science, if you want to go into that realm. It's almost like fringe science. We're still trying to figure it out today, but it's digestible if you keep it concise and it makes some sense. If you can't explain it very well, just go, we don't know. And Flash said it, I don't know. All he knows is if he runs too fast, he'll run faster than light, and that could be dangerous. That's all he basically said. He doesn't know what would happen if he ever runs so fast, faster than light. But he tries not to. Okay? That's one. Superman felt like Superman, like I said. Batman felt like Batman, but in certain chunks. They actually upgraded Wonder Woman a little bit more. They gave her a little bit more to do and a little bit more to say, which is fine. Aquaman felt like Aquaman. He's Arthur Curry. He's not Aquaman just yet, but they call him the Aquaman, but he's not Aquaman because he's not King of Atlantis yet. He's just figuring everything out, and so is Cyborg. But the biggest thing was the plot. The plot makes a lot more sense in Justice League than Endgame. Way more. And also, Steppenwolf and Darkseid's whole situation makes way more sense than Endgame, than Thanos in Endgame. It makes way more sense. He basically destroyed the gauntlet so no one else can use it. His body is raptured and hurt, and he gets killed by freaking Thor. So then when they fight him back when he's at his pristine warrior-like, they could barely fight him. Again. And this is all the Avengers. That's why I said at the very end of Endgame, why didn't they just give us back the Hulk? Just give us the Hulk. Let the Hulk just rampage throughout this army. He's enough. And they're watching how powerful the Hulk really is. But then, and I'm saying again, I like the fact that Superman was able to basically mollywop Steppenwolf, but I really liked if Steppenwolf was able to fight back. The story made more sense. We had more time to understand these characters. Yes, we had 10 years of movies to give these characters where they're at, but then they basically forgot other situations that got them to this point. Not just movies, but storylines. The only ones they really focused on was Captain America, Tony Stark, and Ms. Marvel. Everyone else was just filler. Thor was whatever. Banner was whatever. Black Widow was whatever. Black Panther was whatever. It was just Tony Stark, Captain America, and Ms. Marvel. And Ms. Marvel was barely in the movie, which was a godsend. She was terrible. And it just makes you go, how in the heck did this get forwarded? And like I stated before, I have nothing but bad taste about Endgame and also Infinity War, but Snyder's Justice League was such a breath of fresh air because you had the understanding that they're finally becoming heroes, and they fought one of the most powerful enemies they've ever fought, but they have not yet fought the big boss. They have not fought Darkseid yet. And I think that when we get to that point, that's when we can revisit the Justice League versus the Avengers Endgame, because we got to see them fight the main boss. We got to see how Darkseid fares against Superman and the rest of the team. And I'm saying Superman and the rest of the team because it's going to be Darkseid versus Superman. Just let's just get that out of the way. But we need to get that understanding of where these characters are at. So it makes a lot of sense for us to say that we think that what Snyder was doing was a lot better than Endgame. But we got to see them fight against the big boss, not against a general. We got to see them fight against the big boss. But if you want to put this versus Zack Snyder's Justice League versus the first Avengers, oh God, this movie is far superior than the Avengers. It is. It's far superior than the Avengers, and it makes a lot more sense. But a lot of people want to compare it to Endgame. I wouldn't. But if you're talking about film production and storyline production and character production, Zack Snyder's Justice League is far superior. But if you want to put longevity and also the fact that they did have a great plan, but it just fell through, was MCU. But Zack Snyder had 3 movies to build this all up. We knew he had a plan versus Feige's plan, and he just basically willy-nilly'd everything. So, and this is what happens when you have a committee vote versus a person who's just sitting there saying, hey, I got the ideas, let's just build off of these ideas, and still have a committee, but let's build off of those ideas. And if people want to build off that idea, great. If they don't, then let them have their movie, but then let them move in a different direction. We just won't use that character. That's the point. I mean, that's the point that I would like for them to do. If you want to have your universe, then you have it over here. Let Zach build his universe and build it so people can get them interested. And also, you're still going to have your cake and eat it too. MCU is not going to do that. They're going to keep everything within their main universe, even though it is all clunky and it's wonky, and they have no contempt towards what happened in the past set of movies. And then again, I don't want to get too further in this, but I'll talk about this with Hawk hopefully, and we'll try to get together and we're going to talk about what plans we're hearing about the MCU. But if you want to hear out of these movies, which one is the more superior film, I agree with Brandon Malone. The Snyder Cut is a far superior film. It's way better produced. The characters feel a lot more realistic, and it feels more grounded, and it makes you gets you into the film a lot more. You feel the emotions of the characters because in all honesty, they're not there just to put smiles on people's faces. They're there to show to you that these heroes are broken people who are trying to get themselves together to be an inspiration of heroes. So I like that. And Superman's being at the forehelm of this. And that's what's great. So, thank you. Again, I want to do this with Hawk, but he had to do some stuff with his family, and that's perfectly fine. This is my review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Snyder Cut is phenomenal. There are a few glitches in there. There's probably some stuff I never talked about that I want to sit back and watch it again. This is my raw review of it. I'll talk a little bit more about maybe more positives and more negatives, probably go over what I already talked about before. But I personally want to see more of this. I want to see more. I want to see how he did Calabac. I want to see Granny Goodness. I want to see Baron Wunderbar. I want to see G. Gordon Godfrey. I want to see more people in there, and I want to see the full cusp of what they were going to do, of what they're going